Welcome to Cover 3. We begin our Week 1 preview and prediction show. It's time for me and Tristan to make our picks and see at the end of the season who's better at picking games. Week 1 is probably the hardest one to pick because
you just don't know.
you never know. So we're just going to jump right in. We're going to jump right into it. Super Bowl champion New England Patriots hosting the Pittsburgh Steelers, the team that's won the most Super Bowls in the NFL. Tristan, I'll let you pick first.
This is a hard one for me. I mean, I've told you this too. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm trying to figure out, does Brady not practicing much mean anything? Him looking bad in preseason games. Is the Steelers' defense being so bad, does that mean anything? It's really hard to say. I mean, I know what I'm going to get from that Pittsburgh offense. I have no idea what I'm looking at with New England's offense or defense right now. Because if Brady comes out, he could come out cold. He could come out and go 3 for his first 10 and be down 2 touchdowns. Because Pittsburgh's that off. They're that explosive, even without Le'Veon Bell and Martavius Bryant.
Yeah.
But with that said, I'm going to take New England in a close game. And the reason I think is because they're at home. I think that if Pittsburgh didn't have the suspensions, I'd probably take Pittsburgh. But I think them missing a half a deck, even though it's not detrimental to them, it may be the difference in the game, you know. So I'm going to take New England, and I think it'll be something like 27-21. I'll take New England, making a defensive stop late on Ben Roethlisberger.
Okay, well, I'm going the exact opposite. I think Pittsburgh's offense is too explosive. Like I said in our AFC preview, I don't think they have the answers for guys like Antonio Brown and Heath Miller to, stop that. There's no one in that secondary outside of McCourty that really scares me. Last year when you had Reeves and Browner, that was a legitimate scare. I still think it'll be close. I'm going to go a little different with the pick of the score. I'm going to say 24-21. Last-second field goal clinches the game for Pittsburgh to avoid overtime.
All right, let's move on to
Green Bay and Chicago. I'm just going to come out right away and say it. Green Bay. Chicago does not have the defense to stop Aaron Rodgers. Even though Aaron Rodgers does not have the playmaker in Jordy Nelson, he's still got weapons around him. Eddie Lacy, the defense, got Julius Peppers, Clinton Dix, Sam Shields, a shutdown corner, Clay Matthews, A.J. Hawk. The team all around is a very good team, and they're the best team in the NFC North. And even though the game is in Chicago, I don't think it's going to matter too much. I think Aaron Rodgers is hopefully going to light it up.
I'm going to take Chicago. I mean, I don't even have that many good reasons for taking Chicago, but I just think that Week 1 at home, nobody's picking Chicago to win. It's not like they don't have talent. They do have talent. We talk about Chicago's defense. Can they stop Green Bay? Can Green Bay's defense stop Chicago? I mean, I don't know that. I mean, I know Cutler's awful in his career against Green Bay. That we know. So they know how to play against him. But I think for one game, I think Cutler is going to silence the doubter. I think they come out. I think they shock Green Bay. Because Jordy Nelson's loss is bigger than I think people anticipate. What you're going to see from Green Bay early in the season more so, you're going to see missed timing. And when you have missed timing, you throw turnovers. You have interceptions. You have Aaron Rodgers holding that ball longer than he should. And that's not Jordy Nelson trying to get open. That's not Randall Cobb trying to get open. It's Jeff Janis. It's Devontae Adams. Listen, those guys have talent. They can play. I drafted both of them in my league. I know they can play. But early in the season, they're more likely to make the mistakes, especially on the road. I think those mistakes, I think Aaron Rodgers throws 2 interceptions. I think Chicago wins this game. I'm going to say 31-24. I think Chicago wins this in a shocker to everybody not named me.
All right, next game, I think we're both going the same way on this. It's Seattle at St. Louis. Seattle in a blowout. St. Louis can make it interesting, but I still see Seattle winning like 35-17.
It's hard for me to pick Seattle blowing out St. Louis because they haven't done it. Every game they played has been close the last 4 times. So I don't think it'll be a blowout. I'm taking Seattle. But to me, it comes down to, is the Legion of Boom intact?
Well, they don't have Cam Chancellor yet.
I mean, no, I'm not talking about him.
Oh.
I'm not talking about him. The rest of them. Am I going to see Kerry Williams and
Richard Sherman?
because I know Sherman's there. No, am I going to see Earl Thomas? If those three play, I think they win. If they're missing one of them, maybe it's a little bit different. But it's not like the Rams don't have a good D line.
Right.
You know, they got a good defense, so they can play. Foles will be an upgrade because presumably he can stay on the field. But you know, at the end of the day, you know, I don't see the Rams' offense doing enough to beat Seattle's defense. I think this is another low score. I'm going to say 21-9. I think Foles turns it over a couple times. Maybe Tavon Austin breaks loose on a punt return or something. But outside of that, the Rams can shock because the Rams
shocked a lot.
The way you beat cover three. There's two ways you beat the cover three, or Seattle's at least. Speed and, you know, like little drag routes like they were doing in the Super Bowl with Julian Edelman. Mm-hmm. They killed Seattle with that. If they could emulate that game plan, they may be able to pull an upset. But in the end, I still don't think they have enough offense to beat Seattle because Seattle's got Jimmy Graham now.
Yeah. Next game, Carolina at Jacksonville. I think we're both going the same way on this one. Carolina. Ground and pound Carolina. I mean, that's all they have to do. Give the ball to Jonathan Stewart, maybe run a few read options, like Cam Newton do his thing. And the defense, you know what you're going to get out of them. It's, you know, Luke Kuechly, great middle linebacker, if not one of the best middle linebackers in the league. Jacksonville will maybe make it interesting. I'm really excited to watch Jacksonville this year, especially since they upgraded that running back with T.J. Yeldon. But I think Carolina wins it 21-14.
I'm actually going to take Jacksonville. I think, again, you know, early season at home. Carolina, listen, I don't know if they can protect Cam. I just don't know that. I mean, this offensive line is not good. There's no other way about it. I mean, they're not good, and who is he throwing to? Mm-hmm. You know, and so, I mean, you're talking about a guy who he'll hold it too long. He'll make a few plays with his feet. But I think Jacksonville has enough defensively to make life hard on him. Now, he's not going to face the pressure that he made with, say, the Rams' defensive line. But offensively, especially with the Kelvin Benjamin loss, I think in week one it hurts him. I just believe that. I think Jacksonville comes out. Bortles shows his improvement. I'm going to take Jacksonville 24-14.
Okay. Next, Miami at Washington. I'm going to take Miami just because I don't think Kirk Cousins is going to be able to do what they need to. Washington is a good team. Well, I take good with a very, very small grain of salt. I mean, Alfred Morris, you know what you're going to get out of him. Can Kirk Cousins get the ball to Deshaun Jackson and Pierre Garçon? That remains to be seen. The defense for Washington, though, is just so terrible. I can't really even tell you, you know, oh, this guy is a difference maker for them on defense. Tannehill, like we said in our AFC preview, touchdowns go up, interceptions go down. I think we're going to see that trend again. Or, you know, he'll stay on the same level as he was last year. I'm taking Miami. I think this one's actually going to be a pretty low score. I'm going to take it 17-10.
This is a hard one for me to pick because Washington's speed on offense can beat Miami's lack of speed on defense, but they're more physical. Washington's defensive line is better. You know, they picked up Pot Roast. They've got some guys now in those trenches. It can beat Miami's offensive lineup because Miami's offensive line is not very good. But Tannehill, to me, is the difference in the game. I think this comes down late game. I think Tannehill walks down the field, scores a touchdown in the late minutes. Washington, to me, has more advantages in this game, especially being at home, than Miami does. But, again, I'm going to take the better quarterback in this particular matchup. I like Tannehill against that secondary, not necessarily that entire defense. They've got receivers over there, too. I like the way this guy plays. He plays cool, composed. I'm I'm going to take Miami 21-17.
Okay, this one is my upset, if we can call it that. I think it deserves to be.
Well, I guess so, yeah.
Buffalo over Indy. I just think Buffalo, like I said, is the most complete team in the AFC East. Their defense is great, and Indy's offensive line is going to have a tough time stopping Darius Williams, the other Williams, and
Right.
when they get into Andrew Luck's face, he's going to have to make a quick decision, and it's not like Stephon Gilmore and Ronald Darby are,
Ron Darby has been beaten all preseason.
but he has also made plays when need be. He hasn't,
They're going to go after him.
they will go after him and test a rookie, but I just think, at the end of the day, Buffalo wins in a very, very close game, overtime win, 21-24.
I'm going to take Buffalo in a blowout. I don't think Indianapolis can stop them, and I don't think Indianapolis matches up with them well. I think the one caveat is Darby. He was beaten a lot in preseason, and whoever's on him, be it Hilton or Johnson, they're gonna go after that matchup all day long. So it'll be interesting to see if Ryan gives him safety help, because they're gonna attack him early and they're gonna attack him early. They're probably gonna take a couple deep shots, let him know, hey, I'm coming for you, buddy, all day long. Because you're not gonna throw at Gilmore. Gilmore's a near shutdown corner, so.
Gilmore's too big, and honestly, if I'm Buffalo game planning for this, I put Gilmore on Andre Johnson, match him size for size, because Darby, I'm pretty sure only stands 5'11", and Johnson's what 6'2", 6'3".
Maybe so. Well, however they do it, I just think that at the end of
Buffalo,
the day,
it's sorry, you go ahead.
no, I just think at the end of the day, Buffalo's a better football team. I believe that. I think Tyrod Taylor comes out here week one. He shows what he can do, because I don't think Indianapolis can stop them at all, through the air or on the ground. They're at home. They're going to have a lot of momentum. That crowd is going to be right. It's a great crowd over there in Buffalo. We've always had great crowd.
Yep.
But
Ralph Wilson Stadium will be a rocking.
Yeah, I think this is a 38-17 ball game.
Really?
I really do.
Wow, okay. This game's kind of hard for me to pick. Cleveland and the New York Jets. I would feel a lot more confident in Cleveland if Johnny Manziel was starting. And with that being said, I'm going to take the Jets. And and I think they win 27-10. I think McCown's going to come out and struggle. And, their pull, I think that they could possibly pull McCown in the fourth quarter and just let Johnny Manziel go out there. And that's how they'll get their one touchdown. Johnny Manziel will find a way to get them in because McCown can't. I think Fitzpatrick comes out and has a good game. I think Chris Ivory carries this team very well. And I think Darrelle Revis, it's his first game back home wearing the Jets uniform. I think he gets a pick six.
I agree. I mean, I just think the Jets are better. McCown makes it much easier. He makes it much easier to pick against them. I in a matchup of two teams that have good defenses and not very good quarterbacks, I'm going to side with the home team, and I think the Jets are at least 10 points better. So I'm going to go 20-10, the Jets over Cleveland.
All right, Kansas City at Houston. I got to take Kansas City. And it just comes back down to quarterback play. Can, Brian Hoyer be better than Alex Smith? Maybe. J.J. Watt is a huge factor, obviously.
Yeah.
But
he's on his back.
Yeah, I mean, and Jadeveon Clowney is going to be playing. Vince Wilfork is going to be there. But I think Kansas City is going to be able to mix it up a lot more now that they have the receiving talent, the weapons around Alex Smith. You got Jamal Charles, you got Jeremy Maclin, you got Travis Kelce. They got the weapons now to be able to spread the field and make it and they can put defenses on their heels now. Are they going to come out there and score, 42 points? Even in today's NFL, that's very hard to do.
Yeah.
But I think they win this game by 10 points. I'll take them 27-17.
I'll take them 24-13. I think you look at this football team, Kansas City, it's all about can they protect. Are they going to be better than they were last year? When they go back to throw, they'll be threatened by that defensive line. So I think they can do enough offensively in this football game. Defensively, I think they'll do a good job slowing the Texans down. But I will say that one thing that's a factor, the rookie Marcus Peters instead of Sean Smith, because he's suspended 3 games, we're going to see how much of a difference that makes. He played very well in the preseason, but hey, the preseason is the preseason. It's not the regular season. So we're going to get a chance to see how big a difference that makes. Ultimately, though, yeah, I think the Chiefs boast a stronger football team, and I think they'll win 24-13. I think Smith makes a couple plays, doesn't turn it over. I think Hoyer gets forced into some mistakes because I don't think their running game is going to be good enough. I think that's the recipe for success there.
Okay, next is the first of the late games, New Orleans at Arizona.
Hard one to pick, actually.
Yeah.
I'm
going to go with Arizona just because I feel like their defense is better.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to be a close one. I think it's going to come down to a shootout. It could be an overtime game. I'm going to take Arizona 16-13.
I don't see a low-scoring game. I just think Drew Brees is good enough, at least. Brandon Cooks against Patrick Peterson.
Mm-hmm.
I'm favoring Brandon Cooks because I saw what Deshaun Jackson did. All he needs is a slant. So I'm going to take this game being a shootout. I don't think New Orleans' defense is very good. I don't think Arizona's defense is as good maybe as last year.
Mm-hmm.
They lost Cromartie. Matthew's still coming back. I'm gonna say it's a hard one for me to pick, but I'll take Arizona too. I'll go 31-27.
Okay. Detroit travels to San Diego. I'm taking the Lions. The defense is not what it was since they lost to Dolphins too, but they did get Lillian to fill that hole. And they still got a good front with Ezekiel Alonso there. Mm-hmm. And I just don't think the San Diego Chargers have the corners to stop Matthew Stafford going to Calvin Johnson and Golden Tate and Brandon Pettigrew. Brandon Pettigrew is still there.
Yeah, and they got Eric Ebron now.
And too. Eric Ebron, and he's going to be getting a lot more touches this year. Troy Bill is questionable for the game. That could make a difference. But I still feel like Detroit's got the leg up on San Diego in this game. San Diego did nothing to improve over the offseason except draft Melvin Gordon. Score for this game, 24-14.
This is a hard one for me to pick because San Diego's got so many weapons. Detroit plays that predictable cover 2 defense. And I know Phillip Rivers can shred that defense. But that defensive line, to me, is a big key. Because I don't think San Diego can stop Detroit from scoring. So I'm going to take Detroit, too. It's funny because only when he said it did I start thinking about it, that I think Detroit has the better matchups in the game. But yeah, I'll take Detroit. I will go Detroit wins. But you know what? The key to the game to me actually is the defensive line of Detroit against the offensive line of San Diego. They're pretty even. So we'll see. I'll go Detroit 31-21.
Okay. Baltimore at Denver. I'm going to take...
It's a tough one.
I'll take Baltimore. I think that they're going to do what a lot of teams have been doing with Denver, keep the ball out of Peyton Manning's hands, and they're going to do that with 2 different ways. Running the ball, and get turnovers. I think they're going to attack Peyton Manning early and often and make him throw bad balls and make bad decisions. Denver is going to put up points, but I feel like Baltimore's defense is going to be able to get in Peyton Manning's face since his offensive line lost Ryan Clady, and outside of it, I mean, the offensive line is good enough, but not great enough to stop a pass rush of Terrell Suggs. 24-21. 24-21.
Okay. This is a tough one because, to me, if Denver, first of all, how much of a difference does Kubiak make? having been on Denver staff. I'm wondering about that. And then I'm also wondering, having been on Baltimore staff. And then I'm also wondering, what happens if Baltimore jumps out to a 10-0 lead, 14-0 lead? Does Denver automatically start going to Peyton Manning mode? I want to see if that is the situation that plays out, because to me that favors Baltimore, obviously, because now we can get after that young offensive line. Now I can throw all kind of blitzes at them. I can dictate the game. But if the game is close, I think Denver does stick with the run. It's so hard for me to pick Baltimore in this situation because it's not like them to go up there and win this game week 1. It's very hard for me to pick it, but I'm going to go ahead. I'm gonna trust my instinct, partially because I don't know who Baltimore's throwing to besides Smith and Max Williams. So I'm going to take Denver. I think in the end, Denver has too much offense, even for that Baltimore defense. And I think Denver, Demaryius Thomas, Emmanuel Sanders, one of them makes a play. 27-19.
Okay. Next game is Cincinnati at Oakland. I'm taking Cincinnati. I like Andy Dalton a lot. I'm a huge Andy Dalton fan. AJ Green's back and healthy. And I just don't think Oakland has the guys to be able to stop that backfield. I think we're going to see a lot of running by Cincinnati. Oakland is going to have its plays. I just don't think it's going to be able to make enough of the big plays to get past Cincinnati. I'll take Cincinnati 21-7.
This is a tough one for me. Because I don't trust Dalton. He's given me that over the years. Especially in a hostile environment like this. Oakland's defense ain't the greatest. Cincinnati's isn't what it once was. To me, offensively, they're probably pretty even. This is a tough one. This is a tough one. I'm going to take Oakland.
Okay.
Because I believe that they can score enough to get it done. It's hard for me to even fathom that, though. I'll say 28-24 Oakland.
Okay. Next game, lost my spot, is Tennessee and Tampa Bay. They actually pushed that game back because everyone wants to see two quarterbacks. I'm going to take Tampa Bay, and I think it's going to be a fun game to watch. I've said that numerous times now.
And I've disagreed numerous times.
I think both quarterbacks are going to have their growing pains, obviously, in this game. We might see a few of those welcome to the NFL rookie type hits. But I feel that the combination of Vincent Jackson, Doug Martin, Mike Evans is much better than Dorial Green Beckham and KJ Wright and Kendall Hunter. And I feel just that, Gerald McCoy, Levante David, and Werner are a much better threesome type duo on the defense in Tampa Bay. Final score 28-24.
I'm going to take Tampa Bay, too. I mean, they're at home. It makes a difference. I want to see how Mariota handles this cover 2 scheme. Can he make those tight throws in those tight windows, those corner routes, those between the corner and the safety kind of throws, those deep post type throws between the two safeties. Those are NFL throws. I mean, and he's going to have to make them on a consistent basis because his offensive coordinator is Ken Wisdom. He'll dial it up. He's going to tell him to make those throws, and obviously he can make them, but this is the regular season. I think he throws a couple picks. Jameis may too, but I think Jameis has a better overall team. He's at home. I'll take the Bucks 23-14.
Okay, Sunday night. New York Giants at Dallas Cowboys. You start this off because I can't make a decision right now.
Okay.
Maybe you can persuade me one way or another.
I mean, I'm taking the Cowboys. They're at home. How do the Giants stop their offense? Because they're saying JPP is going to come back, blah, blah, blah. Okay, that's fine. JPP is going to come back with 3 fingers. So who else on their defense can stop anybody on the Cowboys? I mean, they got Dominique Roach-Cromartie, but it's not like he's playing like Revis. So I'm trying to figure that out. I don't see a way they stop them. So if I don't see a way that you stop the team at home, I don't see it. And then the Cowboys are stronger because Sean Lee's back, finally. And they're weaker because Scandrick got hurt. That hurts. Mm-hmm. That really hurts. He was their best corner. So that obviously hurts. To me, this game is a shootout. I mean, I as much as I'd like to think the Cowboys' defense has improved, and maybe it has, Greg Hardy's not there. So that makes a difference. You got a lot of young guys on the front. No Rolando McClain. No Scandrick. I'm going to say Cowboys 38-28.
Okay, I'm going to take the Cowboys also, just because they're at home. That's my main reason, and I don't think the Giants have anyone that can stop Dez Bryant. But I think it's going to be a little bit closer than that. I take Cowboys 28-24. All right, and we wrap up in Monday night. The first game is Philadelphia at Atlanta. I don't think I need to say who I'm taking. If you can see my hat, I'm taking Philly. I think Sam Bradford's going to come out and have a pretty good game. He's not going to have like that 10 for 10, 3-touchdown start that he had against Green Bay. I think the defense is better improved. This will be their first big test. They have to stop Roddy White and Julio Jones. I just don't think Atlanta has the offensive line that's able to protect Matt Ryan against guys like Fletcher Cox, Connor Barwin, Benny Logan, and Cedric Thornton. And Brandon Graham is going to be seeing more play time. But I think it's going to be a pretty close game. I'm going to take Philadelphia 21-17.
This is hard for me to pick. I went back and forth on this. It's because Bradford's still a relative unknown. I know preseason's preseason, but it's preseason. So as I've said to you, there are times I've taken into consideration. It was good for him to get his legs under him for sure and take hits and those kinds of things. I think it's a shootout, and I think it's whoever has the ball last wins game. I do. I'm going to take Atlanta only because they're at home. I'm going to say 38-35, but I think this game's a shootout. I don't know if there's any way it could be anything, but I don't trust either defense. I do think the Eagles have better personnel, but it is early. It's week 1. The Falcons have the weapons. Can they protect? To me, if they can't, this game could be over in a hurry because the Eagles have personnel to put you away. So I don't feel comfortable really taking either team. I really don't. I'm taking the Falcons, like I said, because they're at home. I don't have any other reason. Because I think I think, as I said, the Eagles to me have better personnel top to bottom, but it's early. And I don't, that's why even in the Cowboys, they got better personnel than the Giants, but it's early. So I still think that if it's early, what's going to click, offense or defense? So offense, so 38-35. But if the Eagles blew them out or if they won in that kind of score, that wouldn't shock me either. I want to see if Bradford comes out and plays that well, but I do think it'll be different because preseason nobody's game planning for you, so it'll be a little bit different. But we'll see. I mean, Atlanta has an ace up its sleeve too. You got a guy who was the defense coordinator, the best defense in the league the last 2 years. So we'll see if they're improved on defense too. But at the end of the day, for both teams, to me, it's early, like I say. So whoever has the ball last wins. I'll just say Atlanta. But if it's Philly, I expect Philly to walk down and score a game-winning touchdown.
All right, final game of the opening week, Minnesota at San Francisco. Even though it's on the road, I'm taking Minnesota. Adrian Peterson's first game back. He is ready to just go crazy. He's got fresh legs. San Francisco doesn't have the defense they once had. Colin Kaepernick is turnover prone. I think Minnesota wins this in a blowout. I'm taking the final score 35-17.
This is interesting. Because I could be wrong about this, but I believe Adrian Peterson has his lowest yards per carry against the 49ers of all teams. And that alone made me sway my pick. Now, obviously, having Bowman and Willis help. You had Justice Smith up front. They knew how to block or take on that line. So that makes a difference. But yeah, I want to take Minnesota. I really do. I think they got a better team. I think they have a better team. But just like the Eagles, I think because it's early in the season, it's Monday night, nobody's thinking the Niners are going to do anything, including me. I'm going to take the Niners for that exact crazy reason. I just think if they slow down Adrian Peterson, it's not to say that the Vikings can't win without him, because they have the personnel, and the quarterback now that can do that. But I think it's one of those things where if you game plan all week long to run the football, maybe it doesn't happen that way, and they take him out of the game. Mm-hmm. So I think this is close, low scoring. I can't believe I'm about to say this, but I think Kaepernick makes a couple plays.
Oh, wow.
Right. Kaepernick makes a couple plays. I'm going to say Niners 21-18.
Okay.
We'll see.
That wraps up our Week 1 predictions. Join us back here for Week 2 where we cover the games real quick and we make our picks for.
And we'll look back at last week too.
That's what. We'll look back and we'll discuss. We'll give out our awards for offensive player and defensive player and all that. But until then, we'll see you next time. This is Cover 3 signing off.